Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Keelie here. If this is your first time seeing my face, hello there and welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I'm sharing with you guys my IBS diagnosis story as well as how I had to become gluten and dairy free. So without further ado, let's just get right on into this video. This might be a lengthy video, so grab a snack, grab a drink, pop a squat, and let's get right on into it. So all of this really started my junior year of high school, which was the years of 2016 to 2017. So basically what happened was I was very involved, super active in programs. I was in about 8 different school organizations, so my schedule was jam-packed. No joke about it. And I noticed that while sitting in class or taking a test or walking somewhere I'd never been to before, running errands for teachers, I would get very stressed and anxious. And out of nowhere, I would start getting these really sharp abdominal pains. So if you guys can imagine, anywhere from 1,000 to like 1,000,000 different little sewing needles stabbing your abdomen, making super sharp, teeny tiny little pains radiating throughout your abdomen. That's what I was feeling, and it was super painful, excruciating, and it really limited what I could do when these decided to pop up and flare up and basically take a toll on my everyday life. After I had the sharp pains a couple of times, I realized also that I was having to go to the restroom a little bit more when I would get nervous, stressed, anxious, anything that really made me feel not happy, joyous, and positive. That really took a toll on my body. So I told my mom about it, and we both agreed to do some little research on both YouTube and Google University. So after doing some research and after these flare-ups kept on happening, we decided to just figure it out on our own as much as we could. But then there came a night where I was so in pain and I was crouched over, I was crying, and I could not stop crying. It hurt so bad, you guys. And it was an average night. I mean, I made dinner, I made dessert, did laundry. It was pretty average, but I was getting a little bit upset because no one was helping out with anything. But all of this pain started hitting, and my mom tried calling the nurses and asked what to do, and that just wasn't cutting it. So we picked me up and went to the ER. So when we went to the ER, super long wait. You guys already know, you go to the emergency room and you're waiting for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours until you finally get in, and you really don't get the answer you were looking for. So while I was still in pain, the doctors felt around my stomach, and then they had me go in for a little scan, and they said that, that they saw a blockage, a little blockage. It wasn't like anything too extreme. They didn't think it was extreme enough to be causing me pain. But they referred me to the free clinic, and I think I went there maybe anywhere between 1 and 2 weeks after that. So we went to the free clinic when they had an opening, and I pretty much got told the same thing, so it was kind of a waste of my time. So first of all, we get to this place, and the line is literally going out the doors and around the building. We got there when there was still daylight, didn't leave until it was night outside. And when we got seen, it was pretty much feel around my stomach again and say, yeah, I feel a little bit of a blockage. We'll give you some magnesium citrate. For anyone that doesn't know, magnesium citrate basically it cleans out your entire body. It told me that I was gonna have to stay home from school the next day while I was drinking, and it's pretty much about like the size of a little soda. I said, oh, this is not gonna affect me. I'm still gonna go to school. Chugged it down. That tastes disgusting. Even though it was lemon flavored, it was nasty. Disgusting. Hope I never have to experience it. If you've never experienced it, good for you. If you have experienced it, I feel sorry for you. So I was just sitting there playing on my tablet, minding my own business, and then it hit. So pretty much for the rest of the day, for about 24 hours, I was running back and forth to the restroom, always having to go. Even though I ate, still had to go. And I think for a period of time, I just sat in there because I kept having to go back. So after we went through that, literally nothing changed. It didn't matter how much I ate or how little I ate, how much or little I slept, what I did for exercise, what I did for stress relief. It was not working. So then my mom and I made an appointment with our local pediatrician. At this time I was 17, so I was able to still be seen by a pediatrician. And the pediatrician, we went in there and we talked about the symptoms I was having. My mom was bringing up my moodiness when I was eating, how every time I got stressed or anxious, I came in the room and I would shut the curtains, cover up in bed, and I just didn't want anything to do with the world. Like, I felt very depressed. And the pediatrician was looking around, and he was basically trying to evaluate my symptoms, and it got to the point where he started talking about sensitive stomach issues. And I was like, you know what? That made sense. I mean, it made sense. So because it made sense, we went through a couple of different little surveys, and it got to the point where he talked about possibly doing an endoscopy. In order to do an endoscopy, you have to go to a specialist first, like a GI specialist. So after we had our appointment with the pediatrician, we scheduled an appointment with the specialist, which I do believe was like 2 weeks after I saw the pediatrician. So after that was scheduled, I went and did pretty much my preliminary appointment before an endoscopy, and we talked things through, verified what the pediatrician was saying. Yes, it sounded like sensitive stomach issues, but when the idea of an endoscopy was brought up, I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit squeamish. I don't like being put to sleep for hospital procedures, whether that's an endoscopy, which I've already had like 3 or 4 done now. So after we talked that through, we pretty much scheduled the endoscopy. Now, when you get an endoscopy, if you don't know what that is, that's pretty much where, like, it's a little bit invasive, but it's kind of like a camera. So if this is like a cord thing, like there's a camera up on top, and they literally stick it down inside of you, and it pretty much takes pictures of your stomach, and it allows the doctors to see if there's anything going on. I think the worst thing I've ever seen on my endoscopy is a little bit of gastritis, but we'll get into that. The day of my endoscopy came once again about 2-3 weeks after that appointment. And what happened is when you wake up, you can't eat or drink anything because they don't want you throwing up. They don't want any of that to happen. So you can't eat or drink anything. You have to basically be fasting. I think it's for the 8 to 10 hours, I think. We went to the appointment, and they pretty much had me change into a gown. You know, I was nervous. I was like, I really don't want to do this, but I'm gonna do it, you know. I really didn't want to do it. So after I changed, some of the nurses and the doctors came in, and they pretty much gave me whatever it was to knock me out. I don't remember what it was called. I really don't. I was just so nervous. So after they gave that to me, and it kind of like started settling in a little bit, I pretty much started feeling a little funny, and you know, I was laughing a lot. I don't know why I was laughing so much, but I was laughing a lot, hysterically, and because I was nervous, I was literally tooting the entire appointment. So once the drugs kicked in and I started, like, I guess getting a little bit sleepy, but like not really. I remember my mind getting a little fuzzy, and that's pretty much it. The last thing that I remember is we were moved to another room, and they had this pillow, and I swear it looked like a Twinkie. This is why they like put me on it, because it literally looked like a big yellow Twinkie pillow. So I was told to lay on the Twinkie and fall asleep. I don't remember if I was told to count anything. Like, I think I was told to count to something, but I don't remember. I laid on the Twinkie pillow, and the next thing I know is I wake up in another room. Don't know what happened. Don't know what was inside of me. Don't know who was there, because I have no clue. I was out. Literally lights out. So this lady, like, I tried waking up, but like my body still felt really heavy, and I was honestly very confused. I'm not gonna lie. The nurse had come over, and she's like, "Oh, hun, did you just get out of surgery?" And I'm like, what? And she saw like who my mom was and everything, went and got her. You know, they came in the room, and they were like trying to get me like up and everything, and I was like, oh, I can get up myself. No, I could not, because as soon as I got up off that hospital bed, I fell to the floor. Just fell to the floor. Could not walk with my legs. My legs felt like jelly legs, for real. So they had me in a wheelchair, and they walked me out, and they gave me a little juice thing and some goldfish crackers. And this was also funny. So after they got me in the car, apparently some of the drugs were still in my system, because I remember this clear as day, and I remember me laughing like a hyena during this entire thing. I was eating my goldfish crackers, and I was telling my mom, like, I'm a shark, nom nom nom. And then I was also like, we need some ice cream. And I was just being really, really weird. I don't know. After that, we went out to eat. After a couple more weeks, we finally got the results, and not what we were expecting literally nothing showed up on the endoscopy. What we decided to do was we went back to the specialist, and he basically reevaluated my symptoms and was weighing out the options, and we came to the conclusion that it sounded like I had IBS, aka irritable bowel syndrome. When I say that I was so irritated and frustrated when I found this out, I cannot make this up. I was in such a mood because I was like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm stuck with this for the rest of my life. Like, I can't get rid of it. So it was very upsetting when I found out about this. But then, of course, my mom being my biggest supporter, and also my grandparents, they were the biggest supporters, and they were helping me through it, you know, finding recipes, different books to help with it, which stay tuned for a later video, because I am bringing a video to you guys all about different books and resources that have helped me along this journey. We went through and we were finding books and recipes, integrating smoothies into my daily life, more fiber, and we were pretty much trying to change my lifestyle, which is not an easy thing to do. It is not easy to change your lifestyle. So I was changing my lifestyle, changing my eating habits, how much I ate in a day. As a recap, for IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, my symptoms were based around the bloating, headaches, migraines, always tired, depression, having to go to the bathroom, etc. And the headaches really started happening when I made a change and then I flip-flopped back and forth. It was very difficult. The one thing that I really noticed after I was making the lifestyle change and when I was flip-flopping back and forth is I also noticed that things were changing in school. And I stopped going to some of my organizations, and I was basically told that I had too much on my plate, and that because I was too stressed, that was what caused my IBS. Some of you guys may be asking yourselves, what exactly causes IBS, or what is the primary cause of IBS? Almost every doctor, physician, specialist will tell you that's probably stress induced, which in my case it was, but to be more specific, I was drinking between 8 and 10 cups of coffee a day, getting maybe 3 to 4 hours of sleep every night, or I was staying up all night, rushing around school all the time, trying to be everywhere at once, trying to do everything at home, cleaning all the time, taking care of all the pets, and I pretty much never took care of myself. Like, I did not take care of myself how I was supposed to. I wasn't eating how I was supposed to, and pretty much everything crashed, and it started causing the IBS. And I actually had a couple of breakdowns where I would just start crying. I was like, I can't do this anymore. It was so hard going through this process to figure out what was happening, because like I wanted to be stress-free, but I was stressed about figuring out what was stressing me out, and this stressed me out even more because I kept thinking, oh my gosh, something's wrong with me, like what's going on with me. So after I was diagnosed with IBS, I started changing my lifestyle, like I said, my eating habits, started working on more stress management type activities, and I actually got a little bit of grief for it in school because I would get grief from the cafeteria ladies because I wouldn't eat what was being provided. I was like, I can't eat this. This is going to make me act up. I got grief for having to go to the restroom at school when I had to have Tums, when I had to have antacids, eating snacks in class. I got blitz from other students. I got grief from teachers, and I felt like really like there was a target on me because no one wanted to listen to me. I got into a couple of arguments with assistant principals around the school because no one wanted to listen. They were like, that's just an excuse that you can eat and drink in class. I'm like, no, this is a health condition. So after that, we fast tracked onto me graduating from high school in 2018. So during the whole summer of 2018, I pretty much just prepped for college. I was very excited about college, actually. And come fall of 2018, I noticed that something was happening with my body. I thought that my IBS was coming back, like full on, full force. And I told mom about it, and you know, my mom saw my bloating, and it was so weird because I would eat and I would have to instantly go lay down. Or I would get back from my anatomy and physiology class when I was taking A&P, and I would have to come down and sleep. And I was so moody. Oh my goodness. Like, if I could go back and if I was a mom, I would have just smacked me in the head. I'm so serious. Like, I was so rude and moody, very tired, always getting bloated. The bloating was just ridiculous. I was just like, oh my goodness, I just had a flat stomach this morning and now this. Like, what is happening right now? So I have my computer right in front of me, and I'm pretty much going to read these symptoms off of here because there is quite a few of them that I was going through, and this is when I discovered, like, this is not my IBS. There is no way this is my IBS. And this all like started happening, and then it piled on and on and on and on and on. So I had rock hard bloating to where literally I looked like I was through my first trimester of pregnancy, and it was so hard, it was hard to breathe like I was supposed to. And then I had, this is probably TMI, but for anyone that's watching this and you want some clarification, I'm gonna put it in here for you. I was having diarrhea and constipation, a lot of headaches and migraines daily. I probably have 3 or 4 in a day. Lots of fatigue, lots of brain fog, stomach pains similar to IBS but a little bit worse. And then I had acid reflux, super restless nights. I could not sleep because I was in so much discomfort. I threw up a little bit, constant nausea, a lot of gas, more than normal with IBS. And then I also had irregular times of the month. And all of this was going on, and I told my mom, I was like, this is not my IBS. This can't be my IBS. And I was just out of it. And I was like, is this normal? Like, what's going on? And I was very confused, and I was getting very upset. So after a while, my mom and I once again busted out Google University. And on Google University, it kind of scared me a little bit because first thing that popped up was celiac disease, then Crohn's disease, gluten intolerance. So we didn't know what to think. So of course, the next thing that we did was we evaluated it a little bit more before making an appointment because we were trying to figure out, like, if we cut out some stuff, like, will this change it? Will it not change it? So what we ended up doing is we went on a slightly gluten-free diet because we didn't know if that was what it was. So I noticed that my lunches every day when I came back from college classes, it would literally be a sandwich, some fruit, salad, and that was about it. And we noticed that when I was eating my sandwiches, that was when I really started feeling sick and I had to go lay down. I had headaches and I was moody, and it was instantaneous. When I tell you guys, in that snap of a finger, my mood changed as soon as gluten entered my body. It totally did. So when we realized that, we made an appointment with my primary care doctor here where I live, and he basically said, you know, based off of these symptoms, you know, why don't you try going on a full gluten-free diet for about 2 weeks, and we'll make you an appointment with a specialist. The reason that I had to wait 2 weeks to be on that diet is because, like, I had an appointment with a specialist in 2 weeks. So during that 2 weeks, took gluten out of my diet 100%. You know, I didn't have any sandwiches, nothing. I went with all gluten-free products. And then we get to the appointment with the specialist, and this had me so heated. I was so mad. I was like, are you serious right now? Went to the specialist, and she told me that because I went gluten-free, that they couldn't give me any answers. In order to give me answers, I had to re-input gluten-filled foods in my diet. My mom got heated in the office when we were having this appointment because she saw me every day being in pain and not be able to do what I was supposed to do and not take care of myself. The specialist was trying to be, let's just say, civil, because I was not happy. My mom was not happy. We were like, we just found some relief, and now I was being told that I had to put myself through even more pain just to get answers. So I had to re-put gluten in my diet for about 4 to 6 weeks, which is about a month and a half. And then we had another appointment, and we were going to do another endoscopy. This endoscopy, because I already told you guys how it worked before, I'm not going to go through it too much again, except to tell you guys that really I could not drink my apple juice. If I can find the videos, they'll be in here. I could not drink my apple juice. Couldn't find the straw. So yeah, enjoy that. We got the results, and the only thing that popped up was a tiny bit of gastritis. So gastritis is basically like a little bit of inflammation to the lining of your stomach. So it's not anything too serious, but it is irritation. When we found that out, pretty much what I was told was that I probably most likely have a gluten intolerance, and the next steps were to be taken with a nutritionist. The nutritionist actually spoke to me both about the IBS and the gluten intolerance, because when you cut something out of your diet, you may not think you're cutting out a whole lot, but you are cutting out so many vitamins. So the nutritionist went through with me and gave me a list of things I needed to avoid, things that I needed to integrate into my diet. But I started tracking what I ate, how it made me feel, if I needed to cut it out, the supplements I was taking, any medications, vitamins, probiotics, that kind of thing. And after a while, everything seemed to heal and I was really taking care of myself, and it pretty much started calming down, and it was very frustrating going gluten-free. I'm not gonna lie, like more frustrating than finding out that I had IBS, because it is not easy to do 2 lifestyles in a year, 2 lifestyle changes, and I consider these separate lifestyles because they're still totally different. So after going through this second lifestyle change and getting everything transitioned, I'm living a gluten-free life. It's all dandy, all great things. The symptoms start coming back. I told my mom, I was like, this literally makes no sense. Why is this coming back? We switched everything to gluten-free. I haven't had gluten. I'm not using gluten products. Like, why is this coming back? I noticed the instant headaches, bloating, nausea. And the gas this time was way worse. Way worse. Because all of these started happening to me and they were instantaneous after I had any type of dairy product or lactose product, I'm still experimenting with it to this day, but it's most likely a lactose intolerance. So pretty much what I did is I started cutting out all lactose products and some dairy filled products, and I have been so great. So great. Because literally almost all of my symptoms are relieved. I basically did a self-diagnosis because I didn't feel like going through the hoops and everything to go through another endoscopy, another specialist. Like, seriously, it was so similar to my gluten intolerance symptoms. I was like, okay, it's probably just another food intolerance. But apparently educated guesses are right, because both my mom and I put it together and I am just lactose intolerant. There you go. If you guys have stuck through this long, like, I am so proud of you. Like, thank you guys so much. But throughout everything, I did have to try a couple of diets. It's not a one solution thing. You can't, there's not just one solution to IBS. There's not just one solution to a gluten intolerance. There's not just one solution to a lactose intolerance. So I had to do a couple of main things, but the main things and the best advice I give to any of you guys is to try the FODMAP diet, to try the AIP diet, which is an autoimmune protocol diet. You guys can try doing paleo, but if you can't do those, one of the most helpful things that I've done is switch to only fresh fruits and only fresh vegetables and non-seasoned, non-pre-marinated meats. And on top of that, speaking of meats, you want to stay away from dark meats as much as possible. Like, try not to have dark meats. I know it's difficult. Trust me. I know it is. But try to stick to chicken, turkey, and fish. And then if you want to just do a clean lifestyle overall like I am, try to use as much of like a plant-based product or organic product as you can. That goes for groceries, toiletries, cosmetics, hair products, everything. Just try to go all natural and plant-based and you really shouldn't have any problems. Reading off of my computer, I'm going to tell you guys approximately how long I've been doing each of these 3 lifestyles and basically them being integrated into my life. So for IBS, I've been living with it for about 3 years now. For a gluten-free diet for almost 1.5 years, and for a lactose-free diet about a year and 2 months, because it was happening a couple of months after the gluten intolerance. Yeah, that is my more in-depth kind of longer version of my previous IBS diagnosis video, along with how I had to become gluten and lactose free. If you guys found literally anything in this video helpful, feel free to give this video a big thumbs up. And also, if you're going through the same thing, or if you're seeing this video after you saw my first video, share your story down in the comments below, and I would love to talk to you guys, help you guys in any way that I can based on experiences. This is the reason why I'm making this video, because there is no one solution to IBS, like I said. So we can all help each other out down in the comments and try to bring someone relief somewhere in this world. If you guys want to support awareness for IBS, being gluten-free, or even being lactose or dairy-free, feel free to shop my merch. I have the link down in the description box below. I have made specific merch to help share awareness and spread the word about these conditions, because they are real conditions. We are real people that have these conditions, and I want us all to grow together as a community to help share this and support the cause for helping people out. And I really hope that you guys are all doing well, and that you guys enjoyed the video. And with all that being said, I love you guys so very much. I hope that you guys are all continuing to stay safe, healthy, and being the best people that you all could possibly be. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye! Love you guys!